is hope for the world. Why bother going on?
You haven't seen the world, so you don't know.
What drove you to this project, to this game, to actually decide, listen, I know that people saw it as a game, they saw the story, we'll do it again as a TV series?
Probably the same thing that connects you to the game, which is love. You know, we played the game and we love it, but what connects me to it more than anything are the characters and the relationships and the journey that they go on. That's the most important thing. And it seemed so cinematic to me, and not everything can be adapted easily. This one just seemed, I don't know, instinctively, I felt like if you could let it be at length and show the journey over the course of a television season, that you could both bring to life the things that we love in the game and are connected to, and then expand on them and go further. And what happens when you take gameplay out? What goes in? What can you add in its place? How do you keep people engaged? All these wonderful questions were things that Neil Druckmann and I talked about, but it was all driven by a passion for the characters and the relationships. So what I say to fans of the game is, I'm a fan of the game. I did what I think any fan would want. I brought the things over that I needed to have, and then all of this new stuff gets filled in that is within the spirit of the game and the soul of the game. So there will be a lot of new things for fans, but if you haven't played the game, you know nothing about it, this show is also for you. You're good. You don't need to do any homework.
I think you're a guy who feels very easy in the catastrophic stories. The Chernobyl that actually went across the world and people loved it. And we can see the parts of this story also in The Last of Us. The beginning, the first scene that is saying, listen, guys, you survived the pandemic, but it's not the worst thing that can happen. Was it intentional that this was the beginning of this story?
Yes, that was initially, that wasn't how we started. We were thinking that maybe we would show a little bit of a small documentary, like a little 2-minute documentary about cordyceps and how it works in ants and in the jungle. And it didn't seem like us. Ultimately, we felt like, look, we are about people and we're about keeping things grounded. And it occurred to me that, you know, one of the scary things about Chernobyl was the flaw in that reactor was always there. It could have happened at any point. If they had run a particular test on any night, it could have exploded. Well, cordyceps is there. And I really like the idea that we knew decades ago. We were warned, and then one day it happened. And that's the scary part. And that's, I think, it helps people understand, hey, you know, we just went through a pandemic and it was bad. We've been through these pandemics before. This is like you say, it's different. This one you don't recover from. And so then the story is about how to survive when everything's been taken away from you, particularly the person you love the most.
And finding the perfect actors for the roles. Because as we said, it's a console game.
Yep.
And we know how the characters should look like.
Yep.
So how hard was it to find very good actors that you did with the faces that everybody will say, okay, they are like in the game?
Yeah. Well, we weren't so worried about the faces. And I think a lot of people, when they saw our casting, you know, video game fans, they're working on what they have. You know, they have an understanding of what Joel looks like and what Ellie looks like. If all they have next is just a picture of somebody, I think it's understandable for them to say, wait, maybe this isn't good casting because that doesn't look like that. But what Neil and I were doing was casting the soul. We were casting the spirit. And it's fun to cast the on the basis of looking the same. But for us, we knew that whatever they looked like, that would be something that would be a little jarring and a little confusing for maybe 10 minutes. And then it's gone because you're with the humans and you're seeing their heart and their soul, and it's Ellie. You just like Bella is Ellie. She's got all this Ellie-ness in her. And Pedro is Joel. And the two of them together are Joel and Ellie, which is the most important part. I remember when we made Chernobyl, the first episode went on the air and I was looking on Twitter and people were like, so I guess Russians speak with a British accent. This is stupid. And that basically lasted 10 minutes. And then you were with the people. So it's a little bit like that. You just sort of get over that little difference, because if all we did was cast people to look exactly like the game, Joel and Ellie, well, I think everybody would be happy about it for about 10 minutes. And then the question is, but are they good? Is this good? Do I love this? I think game fans are going to love what Pedro and Bella did.
So my last question is, you know that there are two parts of the game, and TV series, when they are successful, there will be stretch and stretch. So are you going for the second part of the game, or you guys decided to write your own stuff and go without any control of the game?
Well, first, people have to watch this show so that we can get that next season. We would love to keep working on this. You will get it. You will get it. I like your confidence. I think HBO is pretty confident too, but got to wait for that first episode to air. We're starting to talk about it now. I will say this, we will continue to be brave. I think the way we adapted the first game was we showed bravery in spots. We were willing to take some risks, make some interesting changes, alter some things, and also tell some stories that weren't in the game. I think we will continue to be brave like that. But the one thing that I will not do is just stretch for stretching's sake. I am first and foremost an audience member and a fan. I want to always feel like every episode earned the right to exist. So whatever road we go down, all I can promise you is it won't be filler.
Because you know what happened in the second part, in the second game.
I'm well aware. I played it and I loved it, and I know it, and it's controversial, which I love. But how we adapt that game is, well, that's the job that I guess we're really get into in earnest soon. But first, we have to finish up this show and put a bow on it and hand it to the world.